Hey guys, welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. Today's episode is all about what to make with wood items from Dollar Tree's Crafting Corner. And I have to admit that one of these DIYs is my all-time favorite Dollar Tree DIY, so I am so excited to show you. If you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing. And if you do like any of the projects you see in today's video, remember to hit that thumbs up. But let's make some DIYs. This DIY turns out so cute. Dollar Tree has these little nesting boxes in their crafting corner, and I'm using 2 of those. And then I'm just using a wooden dowel, or you can pick up a plunger at Dollar Tree and just use the handle on the plunger. It's made out of wood. You can use that for your wooden dowels, and it's sometimes a lot cheaper than getting them like at the craft store or hardware store. Now I have just cut my dowel down to the size that I want my little tiered tray to be, and which I think this is about 7 inches that I did. And I'm just using some hot glue and wood glue. Now I wanted to glue my dowel more towards the back of the box because I want more items to be able to fit in the front when I decorate with it, because this will be in a space where you won't really see the back of it. So keep in mind, if you want to decorate it all the way around, you might want to center your dowel a little bit more. Now just using some hot glue and wood glue, I just do the same process to get that top nesting box glued on. Here's just a bonus little hack for you. If you ever find little napkin rings, keep in mind of what you might be able to do with them. This particular napkin ring came from Hobby Lobby. The little pot came from Dollar Tree. I'm just using it to stuff in my little tiered tray. It looks almost like a little topiary there, even if you see the hole in the middle. But those little napkin rings, if you ever find those at any stores that you're traveling to, keep in mind of different things you can do with them on tiered trays because they're a lot of fun. Dollar Tree has recently had a lot of these wooden beads. You get them in a pack of 125, and it comes in all sorts of different sizes. So I'm just going to make a little beaded garland because I love hanging beaded garland from different things. It adds a lot of texture, and I just think they're really cute. So I'm just doing a little pattern with a couple of small, then I do the next size up, and then the biggest size, and I just repeat that pattern throughout the whole length of this beaded garland. If you're not lucky enough to find these beads at your Dollar Tree yet, keep watching for them, but I always have a link in my description box for ones that I like to buy on Amazon, so just keep that in mind if you can't find those. I am just using a galvanized tag that I also got at Dollar Tree, and I will just loop over my twine and feed that little beaded garland through there so that way it can tie easily onto. You can kind of tie that on however you want. That's just how I chose to do it. And then all I'm going to do here is just take the end of my twine, feed it up through a couple of the beads, and cut it off so that way you don't have that little piece hanging out. You could always make a tassel for the other end of this, or instead of the tag, I decided just to tie mine off at the other end because it will be resting inside of the tiered tray and you won't see it. So I just tie a knot with that, and then I like to use a little bit of hot glue just to secure that knot. And I mean just ever such a small little daub of hot glue on there just to kind of make sure that knot is not going to come untied or anything in the future. Now I'm using some of these little rub-on transfers from Dollar Tree. These are some of their new farmhouse line that they have, which are super cute. I'm just taking the word welcome and I just cut it down from that sheet because I can use all of those others and other projects that I have. And I like to just use a little wooden craft stick. These particular rub-on transfers go on very smooth and very easily. If you saw me use the foiled ones, I have not had luck with those, but these are very simple. You can see I just peel that back and it just comes right off and transfers that word welcome on there. And it's just something really cute to place in your tiered tray. I love to collect different types of coasters to use for DIY projects. I found these darling little farmhouse coasters at Hobby Lobby. I'm just gluing a couple of the tumbling tower blocks onto the bottom, and it makes a cute little stand for my tiered tray. This little welcome sign turns out super cute there, and here is everything put together. I love how this turns out. It is so cute. It is very farmhouse, and it is a perfect way to use those wooden beads and those little wooden nesting boxes from Dollar Tree. These little mini charcuterie or cutting boards from Dollar Tree are darling. They're in their crafting section. I'm also using a crate and then a dowel, which you could also use a plunger handle if you want to grab everything from Dollar Tree. Now these are the exact perfect size to fit on the sides of one of these crates, and I thought this would make a darling little box. So I'm just using some wood glue on the sides of my crate here, and I'm just going to glue both of those charcuterie boards onto the side of my little crate there so we can make our little box. I like to take my little box I set up on the table to make sure it has a flat bottom and kind of use my fingers to kind of zhuzh those little charcuterie boards around to make sure all of the lines end up even and everything. And then I just put some wood glue on my dowel and I just carefully slide that in between those. And then I just use a wipe to wipe any excess wood glue off. And then I just kind of press it to make sure everything is good. So I take some little half beads now, and I'm just using a little bit of super glue and the wood glue, and I'm gluing those on the outside part of where my dowel is. It's going to look like it's covering a little nail head or something. I thought it would be a really cute contrast, completely optional if you decide not to do this part. I haven't yet seen any half beads at Dollar Tree. If you guys have seen anything like that, I would love for you to let me know down in the comments. I do get mine on Amazon. I'll put a link to those down below, but I'm excited and hopeful that Dollar Tree will hopefully come out with something like that fairly soon. I did clamp this together, but I don't think that you would have to do that. I just left it to dry for about 30 minutes, but I think without the clamp, you would be fine. But now I'm going to go ahead and paint this. And at first I decided just to paint the entire thing white and kind of start from there and kind of look at it and see what I wanted to do with it, if I wanted to add contrasting colors or do a pattern or anything like that. So just give this a spray paint, or if you just want to use chalk paint, however you want to get this painted, you'll just do your choice. When I did get it all painted white, it was very stark and it needed something, so I thought I would go around all of the edges and give kind of that black farmhouse look to it. I thought this was really cute. It took a little bit of patience just to make sure I didn't get black paint spilled over onto the white. Of course, you would have to go back and touch up if you did that. And then just very carefully, I painted those little half beads as well as the handle on it also. In the end, I really love how this turns out with the two-tone, and I'm really glad that I took the time to do this because it really does kind of make this piece. Now, the sides are a little bit plain, and so you can embellish them however you want, or you can leave them. I'm just showing you what I did with mine, so this step is completely optional. I do use a couple or just one of the Charcuterie little stencils here. So when you use Charcuterie, you just kind of put it on a little fuzzing mat there. It just kind of makes that stencil not as sticky, so it's not going to tear your paint or anything up. And then you just use chalk paste that they sell, and you just kind of put that over with a squeegee. It's very much like screen printing. When you pull back that, the design is revealed and it looks really cute. Check my description box for more information on Charcuterie. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you, but just know that you're going to use whatever means you have available to you to embellish yours. So it does not have to be like mine. This is just meant to be inspiration. Now, I sanded the edges, and then I took a little bit of black paint on a baby wipe, and I just am running my finger over all of the edges on this. And for some reason, this is what really made the piece to me. I'm not really sure if it just gave it like a defining something or made it look like enamel or what it was, but I really, as I started this, I wasn't sure I was going to like it, and I fell in love as I was doing this. I thought it really, really made the piece. So inside and out, I just go over all of the edges, and then I even decided to go over the crate, which I wasn't really sure about, but I'm so glad that I did because I do like the definition that it gives and like how it turns out. Now, if this is not your style or you're not loving how this looks, obviously skip this step, but it's totally my style, and I think it really just screams farmhouse, and I love it. Remember to subscribe if you're liking the projects that you're seeing today. These are some of my most favorite farmhouse projects. The next one that I do is my absolute Dollar Tree favorite of all time. This is very close though. I love how this turns out. So I'm going to show you from a different couple of angles here. Depending on your decor or where you want to set this in your house, you can set it sideways. It looks super cute at an angle or straight on. Either way with a little plant. You could even stick whatever you wanted in there besides a plant. I love how this turns out, and I think literally this is one of my favorites. I think it is absolutely beautiful. Are you guys on Instagram? If you are, I would love if you would come and find me. I am Farm Charm Chic over there. I'll leave a link down in my description box so you can easily find me. But come and see what I'm working on. I post there quite a bit. I like to show you things that I'm working on or when I have videos ready. It's just another place to stay in touch. So if you do come find me, remember to send me a DM and say hi, because I do love meeting new friends. If you have a stash or pick up these little palettes from Dollar Tree's crafting area and wonder what to do with them, I have the best DIY for you here. This is by far my favorite Dollar Tree DIY ever. So I am using 9 of these, and I'm going to make a tray with them. So I'm just using a combination of wood glue and super glue, just the super glue and wood glue I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm just kind of alternating. The super glue gives it more of a like quick hold, if that makes sense here, while it lets the wood glue dry. So that's why I decided to use that. I don't love using hot glue in instances like this where I need the pieces to fit together tight, because I feel like sometimes the hot glue will dry in between and they'll kind of be like a space or something. So I'm just using these, and I glue 3 together end to end, and then I do that for each of my 3 rows. So that will take care of all 9 of my little palettes here. And so as you can see, I have all 3 rows done here, and then I'm just using to kind of space my wood glue out there and kind of fill in the gaps with the super glue, and I will glue these 3 rows together using the same method here. To get these to fit together very securely, I am using some clamps. You can sit and hold them for that super glue to dry, but I found that the clamps worked the best. These 4 wooden signs are from Dollar Tree also, and I'm using them for the edges of our tray. And I'm just showing you here that this bottom is very secure. It is not going to fall apart. So now I just need to measure the edges so I know exactly where to mark on all of my signs to cut. Now you can use a handsaw or a miter saw, whatever you use to cut. And then I did drill a couple of holes in these. And as you can see, I ended up having to use a little bit of spackling because it's like a compressed wood. It's not like solid wood, if that makes sense. And so it kind of tore a little bit when my drill went through. So just a little spackling over that. Now I just use my super glue and my wood glue to glue those sides down first. And then I am going to glue these other edges, the front and back in. And if you saw me there, I made sure to put super glues on the edge of those pieces as well as the bottom part, so that way all of my surfaces that are touching are well glued together. Now at first I was just going to do one base coat of chalk paint because all of those signs are different colors, and I was kind of using this as a primer coat, and then I was going to spray paint it. I ended up just doing the whole thing with chalk paint in my studio, and I really do like how it turned out. But just know that you have to go in between each of these palettes with a little detail brush to make sure that those are all painted in between. So it takes a little bit of love and effort and time here. Spray paint may do a little bit quicker of a job for you, but I'm just letting you know how it was. But I'm so pleased with how this came out. I'm so happy that I did take the time to do this. So just that little detail brush in between each of those. Now I do decide to distress mine because you guys know I love that. That is totally my style. And when I've seen these in the store, they have had kind of that distressed finish. So I'm just using some antiquing wax on a chip brush. I will dip my antiquing wax in, and then I will wipe it off a little bit on a paper towel, and then just lightly brush over the areas there. So I did the inside of my tray first, and then I go through on all of the edges and make sure that they're well covered as well. You just want to make sure that if you're doing a distressing finish like this, you want to make sure all of the areas are covered. So the inside of the tray, the outsides of the tray, outside sides, if that makes sense here. And then I kind of go along the edges like I'm doing right here. I feel that that gives a little bit of definition to the edges as well and really helps it to look really good. And I just love how it turns out. Now I'm using a little bit of the rope from Dollar Tree, and I am just going to put a little painter's tape on the edge so I can feed it through where I drilled my holes. If you didn't want to drill holes on here, you could easily super glue some like door handles or something onto the edge of this. If you don't have like the tools or don't feel comfortable using a drill or anything like that, just go to the craft store or hardware store and find a couple of drawer pulls and just use some super glue on the sides. Would work easily as well. But I just tie the rope in knots on either end there and then just pull it tight against, as you saw, I pulled it through to help that knot get really tight, and then just cut off the excess. And then I just repeat the same process on the other side. After I got my handles on and picked this tray up, I was instantly in love. I think this is going to be so fun to style. I love how this turns out. I think that it is such a solid piece, you guys. It's not flimsy at all. And I've seen these in different craft stores. I mean, look how cute it is standing up like this. Like, I just think it is so cute. But I've seen these in craft stores that go for like lots more than it cost me to make this. And it took a little bit of time, but it is a piece that is going to be a staple for me for years to come. And I am so excited to get to style it in different ways and come up with different places to put it. I would love to know down in the comments what you guys think of this one and if this is something that you would attempt. It was so much fun coming up with these DIYs using wood items that I got at Dollar Tree. I hope that I have inspired you. So if you see some of these items at Dollar Tree, you'll have an idea of things that you can create with them or use them for inspiration. You guys know my thoughts on this tray. I'm literally giddy over this tray. I am so excited to use it in my decor. So I hope that I can come up with some really fun ways to style it. And that little charcuterie flower box is one of my favorites also. I think that turned out so cute and it was so darling, and it was such a fun thing that it like all fit together as well as it did. And who doesn't love a little tiered tray? So perfect to add that little farmhouse touch to your decorating. Remember to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see more fun DIYs from me. But as always, I want to remind you to be safe, be smart, be nice, be happy. Choose to have a good day because you are amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed the video that you just saw, here's another one that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and have an amazing day.